I even said, I think on your show several months ago, that I was a bit dismayed when the White House continued to say that the president wouldn't pardon his son. I just thought it was odd. I mean, going all the way back to 2022, they were saying this. The problem, however, with this, though, from my perspective, I get the reasoning why. My issue, Jim, is the constant, well, President Biden is the moral arbiter, the ethical arbiter of maintaining our institutions. He respects the rule of law. And the president suddenly decided, well, maybe the rule of law applies for the most part, but not as it pertains to my son. And so there's a bit of a double standard. And I think a lot of voters out there look at this and say, well, wait a minute here. Constantly, we were told that Donald Trump didn't respect anything, didn't respect the institutions, didn't respect any of these things. And Joe Biden was the one who was different, was better, was going to bring us back to normalcy. And yet the president decided, well, screw those things. I'm only going to care about what's in the interest of my family. And that's my personal issue. I get it, but I just think it smells of a double standard.
You have said repeatedly yourself since the election, the president has said for months, no pardon was coming. I wanted to ask you, could those statements now be seen as lies from the American people? Is there really a credibility issue here given now this announcement?
First of all, one of the things that the president always believes is to be truthful to the American people. That is something that he always truly believes. And if you see the end of his, I assume that you've read his statement, and I would encourage everyone to read in full the president's statement. I think he lays out his thought process. He lays out how he came to this decision. He came to this decision this weekend. So let's be very clear about that. He says it himself. It's in his voice. He said he came to this decision this weekend. And he said he wrestled with this. And because he believes in the justice system, but he also believes that the war politics infected the process and led to a miscarriage of justice.
They made, I'll give you one concrete example. I was, not but it just happened to be, that was the assignment I got. I got all the good ones. So I got Ukraine. And I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time. Well, so they made some genuine, substantial changes institutionally and with people. But in one of the three institutions, there's now some backsliding.
The courts?
Yes. And they had made that commitment that they wouldn't do that. And so when we left, the first thing I spent